So that's Watergate, and it's complicated, but most people think this was just some plot from the Oval Office for Nixon to wiretap his opponents for political gain. This was not a campaign operation, as everybody thinks still today, and Nixon didn't authorize it. And so it's completely, our history is completely fraudulently written today. So we not only have false reporting, we have false history. And, so it's the most seminal event and seminal scandal in American history, if not world history, and it's a journalistically impelled scandal, and the journalism is false.
Yeah, and I'm showing the book while you're talking. So obviously, the title Postgate is based on the actions of the Washington Post. So when you look at Watergate, do you see it as primarily a political scandal, an intelligence scandal, or a media scandal?
CIA threatening this. The CIA was worried about being uncovered, and so they were threatening lives. That this was the CIA doing it. And if you were watching the movie, you would have thought the threats came from the White House. They didn't come from the White House. They came from the CIA. If you look at the movie today, you would now see and understand who Deep Throat is and what he's doing. He's trying to. He was trying to get the matter investigated fully. He was a little frustrated that the White House was not letting him go into all kinds of things beyond Watergate, and so he was trying to get publicity to help the FBI do its job, but it didn't have the intended effect. Woodward cleverly used it to savage Nixon, and the Post was to the Democratic National Committee, and as a matter of fact, they even shared a general counsel. So it's very hard to see this as anything but partisan journalism. And that's what happened. He didn't try to bust President Nixon. The Post used him to bust President Nixon, and Felt really gave very good advice, tried to give very good advice to the president through his boss to try to be a little bit more candid about what had happened, about what it knew and what it didn't know, and allow the FBI to investigate this thing. And what Mark Felt said was, you'll throw those two guys overboard, and that's the end of it. That's actually what the truth was. There were a couple of junior guys over in the campaign that were responsible for this. Well, one in the White House, John Dean, one in the campaign, Jeff Magruder. Nixon could never figure out who had authorized this. And so he always thought it might be his friend John Mitchell, and he probably was trying to protect him, but he didn't know what had happened. And then finally, as the White House starts figuring out that Mitchell wasn't involved, and that Dean probably was, Dean then turns state's evidence and implicates the president as if he were a cover-upper. But the real lesson today is that the press fraudulently got rid of a president. This showed the journalism world that they had political power, and that power has been used ever since to try to either make or break a president.